Story 1. Some get sad or depressed when they get older and their looks fade. Some never really had good looks to begin with, so they won't know about losing them. Story 2. As a woman working in a male-dominated field, none of my coworkers' girlfriends or wives have hated me because they think I'm a threat. I'm fairly certain the majority of my coworkers forget I'm female, actually. Story 3. Being both invisible and able to see someone's true personality. Especially in dating, I've been traditionally extremely unattractive and traditionally pretty attractive at different points throughout my life. The benefits of being considered attractive permeate your entire life. No joke. It's not about being vain or wanting people to date you. Every single interaction you have throughout a given day is significantly affected by your physical appearance. The only upside is no one bothers to be fake around you. Story 4. It's fun when someone does a double take because out of the corner of their eye in a dimly lit room I can be mistaken for someone attractive, until they look a second time and you see the light go out of their eyes. That's right, buddy. Keep walking. Story 5. 35-year-old female here. When I was in high school many years ago, I was overweight. I weighed 300 pounds. The only people who found me attractive were much older men who definitely should not have been talking to any woman ever. That being said, overweight does not equal ugly, but I was unappealing by societal standards of how a young girl should look. I will say this, when I was overweight, people took my intelligence seriously. My interest in computers and technology was validated and even encouraged. Now that I have a suitable aesthetic for what a woman should look like, my intelligence counts for less, and people take everything I say as me trying to manipulate or trying to gain attention. Especially in the gaming community. This makes it really hard for me to trust the people around me. Story 6. Creepy people who obsess over beautiful people mostly leave you alone. When I worked in fast food, the other girls frequently complained about being bothered and harassed by random dudes. I felt bad for them. I mean, I kind of hate being ugly, but it would suck to be objectified all the time. Story 7. I am a woman in my 40s. I was very slim and conventionally attractive in my 20s. Even though I feel I still have an attractive face, I have put on a lot of weight since then. The biggest bonus is that I do not get sexually harassed by men and followed in stores or to my car. I have been losing weight slowly but surely over the past 6 months, and sexual harassment is the thing I am most dreading when I get thinner. Story 8. You don't have to worry about getting hit on all the time. People actually value you for who you are and what you have to offer. People are willing to believe you are actually smart. People don't think you should have to be the most welcoming and personable person around or want to chat with them. People are more willing to be their true selves around you. You don't feel like you are constantly being judged on your appearance or hearing comments about it. People don't expect that you have the greatest social life or a perfect life. People don't talk or gossip about you as much. It's easier to keep a low profile. Story 9. It's easier to do things like public speaking and talking to attractive girls because I don't expect them to like me for my looks, and I therefore have no anxiety about it. Story 10. You get a realistic perspective of other people. When you are attractive, everyone will be on their best behavior around you until they are ready to burn your relationship, that is. This can create some serious trust issues, as they have a hard time distinguishing between the truly trustworthy people in their life and the false sycophants. When you are unattractive, bad people will ignore you unless they want something. That is a huge relief. Story 11. Can actually go to cool places without a male companion. Once in my 20s, I went to a bar alone at 6 p.m. on a Thursday to catch something sports-related that I couldn't get on TV at home, and it was like there was a line of men. One would leave and the next would take his place. Now that I'm in my 40s, people mostly leave me alone. Maybe I got less attractive, maybe it's the wedding ring, I don't know. But it's a relief. Story 12. As a man who has been both attractive and unattractive at different points in life, sorry, but I have not found one aspect of life that is better as an unattractive person. Good character building, I suppose, but that can be done with good looks too. Story 13. Being unattractive can sometimes result in less pressure to adhere to beauty standards and an increased focus on inner traits and authentic connections. Story 14. Depends for whom. I guess, for a man, not much. For a woman, clearly less harassment. Some beautiful women even wear joggers, etc., not to be annoyed anymore. Story 15. As a woman who presented very masculine for most of my teenage years into adulthood, before I continue, I am bisexual but lean towards women at the time. I wasn't the conventional definition of attractive to most men. This meant that I was rarely harassed by the types of men who see women as objects, for which I am eternally grateful. Dated an amazing guy for 3 years during that time who was with me because he was attracted to me, not just as some trophy girlfriend. Story 16. People won't acknowledge you, which is good sometimes. For example, I could be out relaxing and people watching while having headphones on, and 99% of the time, no one's stopping me to start a conversation or to compliment me. Sometimes I like to enjoy the silence and not talk. It's like I'm actually invisible, but in a good way. But it is frustrating when you're trying to get something important done or talk to someone quickly for something important, and they would rather ignore you. The only people I do end up attracting are those who follow me home, have no boundaries, and should probably be in jail. Story 17. In my opinion, if you yourself are looking for love, there's a higher probability that your partner will love you for more than your looks. I sometimes think that extremely, aesthetically beautiful people are more likely to have others interested in them just for their looks, but I imagine that's not always the case. Story 18. I was really ugly and fat as a kid. When I got older, I got contacts, my acne cleared up, I got braces, and I lost weight. Suddenly, I was a solid 8 out of 10. A lot of guys came out of the woodwork to date me, and I was suddenly very aware of how poorly society treats you if you aren't pretty. I've always been self-sufficient and independent, and I don't think of myself as attractive. I think it keeps me humble. Story 19. All the talk about men or bears in the woods, men interrupting you at the gym, being afraid of men in general. It's extremely rare to be bothered when unattractive. I haven't caught a single person's attention in years. It's very peaceful. Story 20. My sister was movie star gorgeous. Even in her 50s, the attention was relentless. Men, women, children, everyone wanted to know her. We both had social anxiety. She couldn't handle it. I no longer have a sister. I'm not in the same galaxy as her, looks-wise, and my anxiety has been so much easier to deal with since I can basically disappear in a crowd at will. If anyone offered me that level of attractiveness, I would run. Story 21. I can pretty much go anywhere and be ignored. A week ago, I was running errands and had to pee very badly. I found myself away from fast food places and the usual bathroom stops, but I was near a moderately nice sit-down restaurant. I had been there before, so I knew where the bathrooms were. I walked in and the hostess saw me. I just pointed in the direction I was going and said, "I'm just going to," and kept walking. I used the very nice bathroom and left. They didn't even look at me as I left. I've had similar experiences at large venues and arenas, being able to walk into no-exit areas or staff-only areas looking for an extra chair, paper towels, or whatever. People either don't notice me or assume I'm supposed to be there, and I'm not particularly memorable. I'm not hideous. I'm just incredibly average or below average in every way and middle-aged, so I can do what I want. Story 22. As a woman, I haven't been catcalled in a long time, and it is amazing. I also feel better traveling in other countries knowing I won't get catcalled. Story 23. You are sort of left alone. As in, you don't need to worry about being constantly approached by people who find you attractive. You don't get catcalled. You just live your life in peace. Story 24. Not getting catcalled. Don't worry about being put into human trafficking. Not being used unless you show your money. If you are unattractive and have money, don't let them know that. Being able to know who's fake or not. Probably more into people with actual good personalities. Unless you're like one of those, I'm sorry to say, but overweight unattractive girls who act like they're important when they wear makeup, but really they look overly made up. Story 25. I'm a girl and I've never been asked out. I've asked out all the guys I've dated, and that's only 3. I've been turned down for sex multiple times, but you know when people actually like you, so that's a plus, I guess. Story 26. I think if you have always been unattractive, then maybe you are less obsessed with being attractive. If you have always thought of yourself as attractive, then the things about you that are not attractive seem like a really big deal. You should see me when I get a cold sore or when the number on the scale is higher than I expect. Story 27. You get left alone and see what people are really like. I grew up overweight and didn't take care of my appearance very well until I was in my 20s. It was a night and day difference. People listened to me at work. Promotions came easier. In my dating life, I could be rude, and some women still wanted me. It was interesting to experience life at a lower difficulty, but I was just disgusted with some people. Story 28. Since I've gotten older and fatter, I've noticed I get checked out a lot less, but people are nicer and more chatty, like strangers on the street who just want to exchange a few words. Story 29. You don't have to worry about how you look, and if you don't like to socialize, which I definitely don't, it's the icing on the cake. Also, you don't have to make an effort to date so you have more disposable income. It's awesome. Story 30. I actually quite enjoyed that I could go out with friends without constantly getting hit on by everybody, like my pretty friends were. I wasn't even jealous. I loved being able to dance without getting bothered. Story 31. When dating, especially online dating, if you pick a certain number of people to talk to or go out with, they won't all want to keep seeing you. They'll narrow it down for you. They won't lie or mask to get you to like them. You'll know if there are genuine feelings or interest and not just sexual desire. People won't assume you're conceited if you're confident or repeat what people have told you about yourself. They'll admire your positivity instead of thinking you need to be put in your place. People aren't impressed to an insulting degree when you show a basic level of empathy and kindness, and they won't assume it's fake. People won't hold doors for you when you're far away, making you run to the door to not appear ungrateful. A resting face is just your face. No one takes it as a personal attack. People won't assume you're flirting if you make eye contact or smile at them. You can laugh at someone's funny partner without someone getting jealous. You can exist without people having expectations of you in relation to their own self-esteem. You're just not a conquest. You can have friends of the opposite or same sex that are actual friends. Story 32. I honestly feel not enough is said about this. I am overweight in my 30s and not attractive to me. I feel kind of like I have a superpower. When I was younger, slim, made an effort with hair and makeup, people would openly look at you in the street. Men would make comments, wink, try and talk to you, etc. Now I feel like I can slip through the world totally absent. Nobody would look twice at me. I see gazes skim right over me. It feels really empowering and, not to mention, much safer as a woman. No longer getting harassed on the bus or on the street. I love it. Story 33. Hope this answer is okay. I am a 38-year-old male. My best friend is very unattractive. He's not the life of the party or anything like that either. He's very depressed and reserved. He is the nicest human I've ever met. He has a great core group of friends we've known since we were 8. He was the best man at my wedding. I'm just answering from an outside perspective, obviously. He's unhappy with his love life and so on. What I'm trying to say is that he's so humble in knowing that he's unattractive that it allows him to focus on everything else he does well without distraction. His strength is in knowing and recognizing himself. He's very comfortable in his own skin, and that makes him genuinely likable, which is what everyone loves about him. Story 34. When you're fat and ugly as a woman, awful men show their true colors much quicker compared to when you're skinny and attractive. You're not worth the effort, and it makes me happy because they're not worth my time either. I recently went through exactly this, and it was incredible. A world of difference. Story 35. I would presume that less attractive people have to actually develop characteristics like intelligence, humor, and personality and therefore have something else going for them. Whereas attractive people sometimes rely on their looks so much it's a hindrance and have zero personality. Story 36. I gained a lot of weight since my divorce. For the most part, I love it. I don't get catcalled. I can go out without feeling like I'm being stalked. If I'm talking with someone, it's because I want to, not because they won't leave me alone. I still get the friendly banter without any expectation from them. There are pros and cons to both sides, but safety and anonymity as a woman is worth more than anything being attractive might get me. Story 37. You're not treated as if you're special. That sounds terrible, I know, But hear me out. Think of the weakness and neediness for constant attention being treated like you're better than others because you come in a nice package could cause. The outwardly attractive person could actually begin to believe they deserve special treatment. I've known of many pretty girls, for example, who literally melt down when their charms don't work, say on a traffic cop or to get their way in a group. A grown adult throwing a tantrum is not an attractive thing to witness. It's harder to develop true self-esteem when you've never actually had to rely on yourself for anything. When things are done for you because you're attractive, you're given first choice in every situation, people treat you as if your opinion holds more weight merely because of your looks. How strong could you become? Without trials, you don't learn resourcefulness and persistence. You don't gain the confidence that comes from doing and knowing that you can do. It would be hard to force yourself to develop enough strengths, skills, or inner fortitude to handle problems if you don't have to. For those who've lived that way, you better hold on to those looks and never get old because, oh man, is your world going to change? And you won't be ready for it. I remember seeing a story in a news magazine show many years ago of a model who put on a fat suit with professional makeup and styling. She went about her business for a day, running errands, walking downtown, and eating lunch out while hidden cameras filmed her interactions. When she returned to get unmade up, she was shaking and crying. She said it was the worst day of her life, and she didn't know how she'd ever get over how people treated her. One day, think of how emotionally weak, psychologically delicate, and mentally undeveloped she must be. I hope she never has a terrible accident, has a loved one get sick, or a pet die. Obviously, not every attractive person is ungrounded or entitled, but being unattractive, and being truly okay with it, means you could be so resilient and ready for whatever life throws at you that much confidence and happiness can fill your life. Your friends will love you for you,